Good evening, Free Enterprise, and welcome to another exciting Lali-Ho League Swiss round race. We are in our first week here, and we've got an exciting one for you tonight between Aegis and TwistedFlax. We have Euphoric Lemon doing the restream, Antidel pushing the buttons, and I am joined in the booth by Xenocat. Xenocat, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing well. Thanks for asking. How are you doing?
I'm once the seed was rolled, my interest really perked up. As you can see, we have a Yang start, and our normal three Lali-Ho League objectives of complete Cave Magnus, forge the Legend Sword with the Adamant, trade away the Pink Tail. We are also going to be hunting for Valvalis and Ogopogo.
Yeah, those are some objectives. Valvalis and Ogopogo are two of the ruder bosses in Free Enterprise, so they can be nice at some relatively low-level locations, but if they're at a challenging spot, or say Ogopogo on a hook route, that's extremely rude.
I'm wanting it right now. I'm gonna say it. I really hope this is a common contagious curse. I want them both in the giant.
That would be something.
Because with Lali-Ho League, in the new release of 4.2, one of the flags that we are using for the Swiss rounds and for the entire league is the vanilla giant flag. Once you enter the giant, you can't leave until you beat both bosses. So if both Valvalis and Ogopogo are in that giant, you can't beat one and just leave if you've got the other three objectives done.
Yeah, unfortunately, you would have to complete the entire giant of Babu to get out.
And and that will be there's a number of rude combinations we could have for these bosses. I'm really glad I'm calling this race and I'm not running it personally.
Yeah, any seed where I get to not fight Ogopogo is a good seed. And this is not looking like it's going to be one of them.
And for those of you who may be new or may have been following around, this is the first week of our Lali-Ho League in the Swiss rounds. I believe we'll be having 6 weeks of the Swiss. Every runner will play one opponent each week, and then starting next week, they'll get a new opponent based on their record, and we will continue on and on until we get a field of into a bracket.
Indeed. Many of these races have already happened. We're getting close to the end of this first week, but that just means that there's only a few more of these 0-0 matchups before we start getting into the 1-0s and the 0-1s.
Yep, and we've had a number of exciting races. We actually had a tie earlier. I won't tell you which race it was, but there was a tie earlier today. So anything can happen in these 0-0 matches. And honestly, next week we have a lot of great 0-1 matches that will be put together, and even some 1-0s. So next week will still be pretty good as this one. So hopefully you'll stick around and join us through this exciting adventure that we've got going for us.
Indeed, I am very excited for the remaining matches for this weekend, and what matches there are to come.
Yeah, and like I said, we've got a number of new objectives. If you've been a fan of Free Enterprise, we are actually getting underway. We'll see who will be joining this Yang to be starting off with.
And we have our first bit of vanilla with Kane and Baigen.
Double vanilla. One thing to point out, this rude objective set with the Valvalis and Ogopogo, this is Euphoric Lemon's first time restreaming and has rolled a doozy. And also a double dose of vanilla.
Indeed. And a magma start, so that blows open the beginning of the seed.
Yeah, that's one thing that really shakes me personally, getting that magma start, because now your options are so wide open for where would you like to go, Xenocap, if you get this magma key start?
I feel like I go a little contrarian to everyone else. I stay on the overworld for just a little bit, usually, and keep my looting to the overworld, but there's definitely a lot of incentive to dive straight into that underground and get some of that underground loot.
Yeah, I definitely can see you going both ways. You want to get that underground loot. You want to check out those shops. Maybe see if you've got some sirens available to build towards. But you're not going to have any money, so you're gonna if you go to those shops early, you're not going to have anything to sell to get those things. So there's definitely a balance on when to go versus when not to go. As we see immediate divergence, TwistedFlax looting the waterway. Aegis is heading to the underground.
I would just like to point out that TwistedFlax has already found Kane's ultimate weapon, a defense sword, just chilling in the watery pass.
The watery pass is because there are no objectives here. Watery pass on T Pro and T Wilders does have a little bit higher percentage of loot in terms of the upper tiers. So getting a defense sword early, really nice pickup for TwistedFlax.
Yeah, that is going to turn Kane into a very powerful attacker. But it looks like Aegis is going straight for the Feymarch.
Yeah, this could be just trying to get some knowledge, get that free key item. The standard mantra: check your freebies, check your objectives, and that rat tail chest in the Feymarch is definitely a freebie.
Yep. Looks like is also taking some loot here in this path to the Feymarch. There's only one trap chest here, and as Aegis just demonstrated, she's already found it, so they'll be able to loot the rest of this path without concern.
Yeah, Feymarch, on the way to the Feymarch is one of my personal favorites to loot. It is also higher because of that one trap chest, but there's only the one trap chest. Once you find it, then you got free loot the rest of the way. That definitely has a good chance of being some tier 5 loot.
Indeed, I certainly don't mind looting the path to the Feymarch early. TwistedFlax heading into Damsian Basement. This is a more common play on flags like T Standard and T Wild because of the sheer density of checks, but has been finding some good stuff in here. That Ogre Axe and the Thunderclaw especially, I don't hate to see.
I personally will come to Damsian. It's a good density of early chests. It may not always have a whole lot, but it's going to give you at least a few things to give you a little money to maybe get like a cheeky hourglass or something that could be available early on to get you through maybe a tough fight early.
For sure. Aegis, meanwhile, has shown us that the Feymarch freebie is a hook, so that's already half of that third objective taken care of.
Yeah, a hook is really nice pickup, especially that's a character. That's another gated shop. I mean, so this is going to be really a really good pickup. It looks like TwistedFlax is going to be heading that way as well.
Yep, just wanted to do some looting in that watery pass and Damsian before heading underground.
And who's our king and queen going to be today in the Feymarch?
Looks like it's some sort of Ruby sprite, either Rubicant himself or the Elements fight and the Karate fight.
Oh, I don't think I'd want to come back to that Feymarch, at least not without a Cecil.
Yeah, that is a fairly rude Feymarch. You're just making the executive decision right now to buy an Ice Claw. Definitely a good move when you're looking at potentially having to deal with Rubicant there.
100% agree there. That Ice Claw is going to be sitting in the inventory for a while, but hopefully will be put to use later on.
Indeed. Ice Claw is quite a good weapon, not just for Rubicant, but also for Kenazo, who is also weak to ice when he does not have the water gathered, and considering those are both very rude bosses, it's often worth picking up. It's a fairly cheap purchase.
Yeah, they don't call him the Punch Mage for nothing. Not just because his power grows just based on his levels, but because of those elemental claws. He at the upper levels can hit pretty powerful numbers without cast time.
Indeed. Especially with that Thunderclaw, which tears through so many bosses, and also it's the machine weakness, so any machines that you might fight get just completely wrecked.
Always good to find a Thunderclaw. Even if you don't have a Yang or an Edge at the immediate moment, you still want it just in case you find one and need it later.
Indeed.
And it looks like Aegis is going to go talk to Yang. That's going to trigger Sheila 1. That'll be some good routing later on for as Aegis makes their way through the overworld. Can do Fabul, get a double check there, which is really nice to limit the number of trips you have to go into Fabul.
For sure. I'm a big fan of putting off Fabul until you get at least underground access. I don't like waiting for the pan. That just feels a little bit too late, because what if the pan is at Fabul? But if I can get my underground access without going through Fabul, I will usually head underground first and set up that Sheila 1 check just to get those 2 checks taken care of at the same time. But it looks like now Aegis is diving into the watery pass to pick up some loot to cover that TwistedFlax has already shown us, while TwistedFlax is down in the Fame Arch doing some shopping and finding Bacchus, which are very nice.
Yeah, with this K and Yang duo, Bacchus is going to be really nice to handle some of these early bosses, to just get them drunk and get them swinging, especially with that defense sword.
Yeah, for sure. TwistedFlax getting the bad news about that not so free Fame Arch. And Aegis is going to show us that we have a Tella in the Kaipo bed. Tella was a runner favorite in Highway to the 3-Miss Zone due to the ability to do the giant grinds and the ubiquity of the D-Machine grind. He's not so much in this tournament. He still has his uses as a pretty good anchor, but because we have that vanilla giant flag on, you can't leave the giant without fighting the 2 bosses, and that's often too much of a hassle. Especially when sirens are likely to be available.
Yeah, we do have the S standard flag on, so sirens have been pretty available in a lot of our races so far. And one thing that we'll note too, whenever our runners decide to start equipping some of this loot that they're finding, you'll notice that Yang and Kane don't really have a lot of gear on right now. Do you want to explain what this new flag is?
Yes. For this tournament, we've introduced the C Neki flag, which basically does what you think it does. None of the characters start with any armor, so unfortunately you're not going to get a black belt and a bandana on that edge, or a sorcerer robe and a wizard hat and a diamond ring on your Forsoya. And they will start with one random, fairly low tier weapon. I believe it's tier 1 to 3. And that's it. So Kane, as you can see, just started with that silver sword. And our runners will have to get all of the other equipment either by looting it or by going shopping.
Honestly, Silver Sword, one of the better starting weapons for Kane.
Yeah, it's not bad. I would prefer a Drain Sword just because the Drain Sword has some niche utility later on, but Silver Sword is not the worst. Yang starting with probably his best claw possible with the Thunder Claw.
Yeah, and we have one of the other new additions to 4.2 was an increased number of starting kits. And one of them that we're using is the Dwarven kit, which starts you off with 10 rune rings, a dwarf axe, a wizard hat, a wizard robe, and a strength ring.
And an elixir. Yeah, it's quite a good starting kit. The strength ring is a nice little strength boost early on. Oh, well, that's one of our objectives. Hi, Valvalis. We have Kane. This isn't super scary.
It's a little scary at base levels.
That's true. Kane is gonna do a couple hundred damage here.
Yeah, this is a long fight.
Yeah, especially with Yang getting knocked down by one punch. Weak is a scary thing. Now, if our runners hadn't started with a Magma Key, we could say that this couldn't get underground access, but we've already found both forms of underground access, so all underground access speculation is just completely off the table.
I didn't realize how well geared this Kane was with the defense sword. That Valvalis just hit him for 1.
Yeah, I believe TwistedFlax found some Dragoon armor or some sort of Dragoon equipment somewhere, which is really buffing up that Kane's defense. And just a Masamune from defending Fabul, which will be very nice if we find an edge.
Yeah, that is Edge's best weapon power-wise. You could make arguments stat-wise, not his best, but I believe it's got his highest attack power on there.
Indeed. And Sheila not having the goods today, just having a life staff, which currently none of our party members can use, but as Aegis dives down into this hook route, we might see someone who can use it.
Solaris, that was at the Fabul defense for where Valvalis was. And you'll notice that Aegis is not looting anything here in the Evelyn. There's a couple reasons for that. One of these chests is trapped with 2 Stalemen in there. And then also, in case this character is not something that Aegis wants, can just reset out. I believe they saved right at the beginning as well.
Yes, so looted the start of the cave, but decided to stop looting at some point because the more you loot, the more likely it is that you're going to run into that one trapped chest. And, well, that's probably not a character that Aegis is planning on keeping. Yep, resets right out. Don't blame them at all. Edward is not necessarily the character you want to see in the early game. And meanwhile, TwistedFlax has gone up Mount Hobbs and found a Tella fighting a plague.
One of the things too we need to know, there's only going to be 10 distinct characters, so we found one of the duplicate characters that can appear in the seed with this Tella, since we know there's another one in the Kaipo bed.
Indeed, since there are 10 distinct characters and 13 character locations, including our starting 2, there are only going to be 3 duplicate characters total throughout the seed, which would be more relevant if our runners had a character objective. But since we are just looking for bosses, it's not going to be quite as relevant.
Yeah, TwistedFlax is making short work of these bosses, having a defense sword Kane just swinging away on them, picking up his Tella. Is going to probably go to Antlion, maybe?
Looks like is landing outside the Antlion cave. This makes sense. This is a fairly easy check. This is being the first boss that you would fight normally in the game that grants a key item. There are some bosses that you would fight before this in the game, but they do not grant key items, or at least those locations do not.
Yeah, we did see, I believe it was TwistedFlax who checked the waterfall. That was an evil wall hanging out, taking a shower. So those hoping for a rude evil wall somewhere, it's not going to happen tonight.
Yes, unfortunately, we will not get blocked by a rude evil wall tonight. But we have found the Dark Elf hanging out in the Antlion's nest.
Yeah, this is a good fight here. This is, split HP. Kane, forcing the dragon change on 1 hit. And I would expect Yang is probably going to punch this out here pretty quickly.
Yang might not be able to knock the dragon form by himself, but Kane should be able to finish this off easily.
And meanwhile, Aegis is on top of Hobbs, has their Tella, and working through this plague. Oh, there's the pigtail.
We've seen like 5 key item checks, and we already have an objective. Well, 2 objectives.
It seems like Euphoric Lemon really wanted to just trick us with these, great, objectives, and really wanted to call it an early night, possibly.
Yeah. It's too early to say that this seed is jetty, as has been proven in many a race. It's not a jet seed until you find the last objective.
And the way to Zeromus.
Yes, and the way to Zeromus, that too. That is also important.
Plumeria Knight, he will finish the jump and then come down, and his timer will finish off, I believe. I've had that happen.
Yes. I do not believe Kane's count timer can expire while he's in the air. but it can continue counting, I believe, while he's in the air, but it will not expire while he's in the air. In the same way that if you have a bunch of very fast characters who are berserked, the count will never expire because they're just taking turns too fast for the count to run out.
Getting our first... Oh, go ahead.
But we have our second Lunar Sparkle on the first side of Ordeals. Just the D-Lunars, not our objective. But this is a little bit rude.
We do have that stack of Cure 1s, or Cure 2s, I mean, so that's always a good setup to have. If you run into the D-Lunars in this spot, the Cure 2s can, do quite a bit of damage, as Tella just demonstrated with that Life Sap on.
Yeah, and it does look like TwistedFlax did find a Fire Claw somewhere, which will do bonus damage to the D-Lunars, as they are weak to fire.
Yeah, so that's 2 Lunar Sparkles down.
Yep, at this point, any Lunar Sparkle we see will be a 1 in 3 chance of that Ogopogo.
Now, we do have the no adamants flag turned on, so that's why you probably didn't see TwistedFlax dart directly to turn in that Pigtail. Only going to get a piece of tier 7 gear, which is good, but it's not an adamant armor. So that's, doesn't really hurt TwistedFlax a whole lot to put that check off until a little bit later and maybe route it in.
Indeed. And a lot of the tier 7 armor items can't really be used by this party. I think the only things this party can use are the White Shirt and the Avenger, and the Dragoon Spear. I always forget about the Dragoon Spear, but the Dragoon Spear is not an upgrade from the Defense Sword for most bosses. The White Shirt is for Tella, and Tella is not exactly who you want to have the White Shirt on. And the Avenger's nice, but the Defense Sword is pretty much just as serviceable. But unfortunately, we have the Maga Sisters at this back attack, which is not a fun fight.
That's a fight that I honestly, with this party, I might walk backwards. Throwing the rune rings on whomever can use them.
Yeah, rune rings will resist the punches and make it so that Cindy does not do nearly as much damage, but they do not do anything to counter Mindy's spell damage.
Yeah, Aegis finding their Valvalis at the pool defense. Gonna have Cade leap in the air, and we'll see if TwistedFlax can get through these Maga Sisters. This spot has, while the Mylon Z fight, he only punches, does have a high magic power. It's believed that that Mylon Z was supposed to do a little bit more than just punch.
Well, I mean, it's kind of like some of the other bosses in the game, where some bosses that don't do any physical attacks have really high physical attack because it's that they're late in the game, therefore they must have high physical attack, and they never needed to balance the physical attack because the boss never does physical attacks in its script. So perhaps there's something similar going on with Mylon Z, where they gave it pretty solid magic power because it's supposed to be a big scary boss and it doesn't use magic, so why balance the magic power?
Yep. As this jumping cane is making really short work, hitting 1,500 damage.
Yeah, Defense Sword is very good. Now that it's down to Sandy, though, TwistedFlax has decided to just use the fight command. Sandy is the least threatening of the Maga Sisters, but she can still be scary if she lands that charm.
Yeah, and the big change there was throwing that crystal ring onto Cade to speed up that anchor. Agility manipulation is not one of my strong suits, let alone I'm not going to even try to explain it. But I know early game you want to have a little bit faster agility, and that really helped make that fight a lot more manageable. Indeed.
Generally, for the early game spots, you will be able to have a character outspeed them, and when you can outspeed bosses, that's good. That's probably the simplest part of agility manipulation, is being faster is good when you can outspeed bosses. And that's another dose of vanilla with a vanilla legend sword from Mount Ordeals, followed up by CPU, which is honestly, this is one of the best spots for CPU.
Yeah, and that's a halfway to another objective there.
Indeed. We have 2 objectives ready to go and already half of a third.
You just gonna show us what's at the... Oh, that's the crystal sword.
Well, that's going to be real nice if we find a Cecil, but that can only be used by Cecils, so this seed might not have any Cecils.
Kind of already had a call in chat to sell it, certain dominance over the seed.
I think it's a little early for that.
I would agree. We got a couple of character checks, like all of them, still to go.
We don't know who's in the Baron Inn. There could be a Baron Inn Cecil, and then if you sell it, you feel real bad.
That's when you scramble and see if you still have a save where you got it.
That is the correct move.
So our runner's doing a little high five on the way through Mount Ordeals.
Yep,
and we'll see where they go.
Just heading up to the top of Mount Ordeals. We'll probably not have too much trouble with these D-Lunars, but we'll see how they deal with the Mega Sisters. Well, TwistedFlax is picking up the hook and looks like is going to be turning in that pigtail.
Gonna be getting his crystal sword. Gonna be wondering, hopefully there's a Cecil in this seed. Could be one of the two taking the seed off, though.
Or could be the only Cecil at the back of the Giant of Babel.
I don't know if chat can tell, but it sounds like both of your commentators really want the Giant of Babel to be required here.
Hey, I didn't say that the Giant of Babel is required. I'm just saying we put the only Cecil in the seed back there, so no one gets a Cecil.
And it looks like TwistedFlax is going to be making the Cave Emblem play. Going to find that Edward at the back and just Baron guards. Now, this has been a debate, I know, among some people. Where do you stand on Xenocat? If you get this hook route early, do you check to see who that King-Queen spot is if you've got boss hunts on?
If I have multiple boss hunts and I'm feeling a little bit behind, I will absolutely check it. Otherwise, I don't hate skipping it, especially if I see someone like an Edward at the character, someone that I really don't care about and do not want to take into my party. I'm more inclined to just reset all the way back out and not worry about that boss until it gets to be much later in the seed.
Yeah, I would be the same mind as you would be on that. There's definitely a time and place to where when you get the hook, to go and get that information. We know it's going to be, either Baron or Kaipo guards at the room cut spot, but maybe having that knowledge that our Ogopogo's not at the King Queen spot, which, that would be kind of mean.
That certainly would be. But you know what would be even meaner? A D missed at the King Queen spot with the package which has an Ogo at it.
Yes. A D missed at the King, or a D missed at the King Queen that has the Darkness Crystal with the Ogo at Elements.
Well, then our runners just probably do the other objectives and don't do Ogo. You can tell we both really want this seed to be brewed.
TwistedFlax wanted nothing to do with that Edward. Immediately reset back to the start.
Yep, I guess it was fine with not keeping any of the stuff from the F1 shops and has decided to instead check Baron Inn.
I think he did exit with Tella.
Ah. Okay, so keeping the shop.
Yeah, because he had sold a number of things.
Yeah, that definitely makes sense. It always feels bad to reset out of shopping, but we have Rosa having brunch with Leviathan.
I can think of a lot of people in the Final Fantasy IV universe that I would have brunch with. I'm not sure Leviathan would be one. I mean, you know, it's a sea snake dressed as an old man in a purple robe. There's another lunar sparkle though on Aegis' side.
Oh my.
That was Pale Dim.
That means our lunar sparkles remaining are down to just Ogo and Wyvern.
TwistedFlax finding some dark imps here. This is not terrible considering how tanky Arcane is.
Yes, Kane is very tanky. Yang showing off that he is not. We'll see if Tella lands the stone. Tella did not land the stone.
I had one recently where I tried to stone some dark imps, but it was based on recall, and he actually recalled stone and failed.
That is certainly a thing that Tella can do. Tella missing spells is just a part of who he is, you know? He just misses spells sometimes.
He can't see where he wants to throw them.
Yep, but TwistedFlax is through the fight, gets a Rosa, and gets a nice t-shirt for her. That
is really good pickup. You know, you've got a White Spear Life Staff Rosa right out the gate.
Yeah, Rosa is going to be a super healer.
Our runners have met up with the minor divergences that they've done. They've both converged on this Baronet.
Yeah, I think Aegis noped out of Mount Ordeals, so still does not have that Legend Sword, but other than that, they've completed the same checks.
I'll admit, I've noped out of that Magus Sisters fight at the Mylon Z spot. That is,
yep.
Yeah, the way TwistedFlax handled it was exceptionally well. Take notes on that because that was really well done.
Indeed, that Mega Sisters are one of a few bosses that can be extremely rude at that back attack spot. TwistedFlax now getting the news about the Pale Dim in Mist Cave.
Doesn't need anything with that white dragon. Gonna be moving on.
Yep, it's time. I believe TwistedFlax has cleared out all of the overworld checks at this point and is now looking to do some checks in the underground.
And stopping here in Dwarf Castle, gonna be doing some shopping, looking for sirens probably.
Just cabins.
Whew. I mean, I do like me some cabins.
Not even a tier 5 item. Just a bunch of cabins. I mean, cabins are great. You love to find them. Assuming you haven't found any other camping gear. I prefer tents generally, but I don't say no to cabins. But yeah, not exactly what you're looking for with these underground checks. And are the dwarves storing spears in their basement?
I was trying to find some clever way to point out that, you know, Kane just stashing spears in random places, and you know, it's like, I'm not gonna remember where these are. Let's put them all in the dwarf castle.
Yeah, some of those spears are better than others, but the Gungnir spear, pretty nice. I mean, they will all hit the throw weakness, so they will all do bonus damage to flying enemies, which in terms of bosses is just Plague and Mylon Z. But the Gungnir spear is the strongest. The Blizzard spear is going to be great for Rubicant if TwistedFlax goes back for that, as it will do ice damage. And the Wind spear, yeah, the Wind spear is a spear.
Yep. Oh, just sold that Blizzard spear though.
And the Gungnir.
Raising money for sirens.
Yeah, I mean, the Gungnir is, at this point, with Plague out of the way, its Gungnir is only good against Mylon Z. Mylon Z is not the most threatening of bosses.
The only time I might keep the Gungnir at this point is if, you know, I could find an edge who could throw it and make some use, but, you know, yeah, I'd rather sell it for siren money right now, too.
Indeed, yeah. Darting spears is nice, but it's also quite a lot of money, and you generally don't want to leave behind lots of money.
Yeah, so it looks like TwistedFlax gonna crack a few eggs, get his party beefed up a little bit to get through maybe a couple of these underground fights a little bit easier. There's two bosses waiting for him, and the dwarf castle with a character check in there. That's probably where I would be looking at.
Yeah, especially with that crystal sword in the inventory still, and the Masa. Finding a Cecil or an Edge down here would be very nice. And this party is a little bit weak for Dwarf Castle, so you have the Sirens available. Getting just a couple levels on them on this party is going to make Dwarf Castle a heck of a lot easier.
Trying to land the stone, gets it.
Yep, Tella being in the middle slot is very nice.
Yeah, if you are new to Free Enterprise, putting a character in the middle slot really increases their accuracy, not just on physical hits, but on spells. So that is why putting Tella makes it a whole lot easier to land something like weaker stone.
Yep, and with that, just one egg, Rosa already got up to Berserk. Looks like it's going to take another egg. Unfortunately, putting them in the middle slot doesn't guarantee the hit, as Tella just whiffed another stone. But there's Blink and Charm on Rosa. Blink is probably what TwistedFlax is looking for.
Yeah,
Although
Blink and Berserk.
Might be looking for a little bit more as he's taking one more egg.
Yeah, there could be a number of rude bosses, especially if you see a Lunar Sparkle. You're dealing with that objective Ogopogo or Wyvern. At this point, TwistedFlax has all the same knowledge that Aegis has, with most of the Lunar Sparkles already taken care of.
Indeed. Looks like was satisfied with that third egg, just getting a couple more levels on the whole party, and is now going to be heading to Dwarf Castle.
So do you ever like to go in from the other entrance so you get the pot and the free heal on your way to do the bosses?
No. It's a long walk. I don't like making that walk.
I do it, but I also make sure I put up a note saying I parked in the back, because
Yes.
I've walked out the front before.
If you park in the back, do not walk out the front. It's a bad time.
There are also 3 chests though, and being an underground, it is a little bit higher tier loot, a little bit to find.
That
I
is
found
true.
some goodies in there.
There are 3 chests down there, and if you're not walking into Dwarf Castle from that route, you're probably not going to loot those. Also, do not walk in the back without exit. That's just also long. And we have another dose of vanilla here with vanilla dolls.
Chat. Auska was working with Euphoric Lemon before this. I'm beginning to suspect it may have been Zoe or Daphis.
Yeah. This is starting to look a lot more like a Zoe or Daphis seed than an Auska seed, although there is still plenty of potential for rudeness.
Oh yes. Throwing out the hourglass, putting out showing that the back 3 dolls do not have the boss bit on. They are susceptible to a number of status effects, including Odin's attack. And if for some reason the Odin attack does the check on whether it's going to kill everything on screen based on the back dolls.
Yep. The Odin attack can work on the dolls fight, and will take out the front dolls if there are back dolls up. Final Fantasy IV is weird.
It's a well-programmed game.
Yeah, let's go with that.
Getting through the dolls, use an hourglass to do it, and we'll see who boss number 2 in the character is. And our runners converging again.
Well, we have found a Mylon form, and that's not a sword wielder, but Callum is not terrible.
And not the wielder of the weapons we want to be wielded, but does have a Quake. Kinda. I don't know if TwistedFlax has any more sirens.
I believe TwistedFlax has a few more.
Yeah, 2 quick sirens, and your Palom has Quake.
Indeed. He does not take very long to get Quake online.
Chat, people in chat wanting that crystal sword to get sold to really make Cecil show up.
Yep. Unfortunately, it doesn't really work that way, even though it might seem like it does. The one problem with Palom on this flag set is it's going to take a lot of experience to get him up to nuke for the Zeromus fight, potentially, so he's not the best character to bring into that Zeromus fight, but he can be very good through the mid-game.
Yeah, another of the new flags that we got in 4.2, as we just got an artist bow for our Dwarven Castle adventure. But one of the new flags was preventing, or no, is it a new flag? I don't know.
I believe it existed before 4.2, but we haven't had it on in tournaments before. But it is an EXP no boost flag, which means that characters will not get extra experience for being behind the rest of the party. In previous tournaments, characters that are 5 levels or more behind the median level of the party will get double experience. And yes, that stacks with the double experience bonus from having 10 key items. So one popular strategy in 3-Miss Zone was to take 2 very low-level Paloms or Rydias, take them into a D-Machine grind where you get all of your experience in one fight, and with a Rydia at low levels with 10 key items, you only needed to take out 3 D-Machines with life glitches, and that Rydia has nuke all of a sudden. But disabling that boost will make it a lot more difficult to justify taking some of these mages into the end game.
Yeah, and it definitely plays more to get them some levels, get them to their spells so that they can actually be useful to your party instead of just laying in the dirt and letting the rest of the party do all the work.
Indeed. TwistedFlax popping 1 siren here just to get Palom up to Quake. I don't expect we'll be going for too many more levels, as Quake is pretty much Palom's best spell until he learns Nuke. And Palom learns Quake at level 23. He learns Nuke at level 52.
I mean, does Palom get any other spells after he learns Quake? I think he even forgets all of his other ones, personally.
Toad. He keeps Toad. He learns Weak very late, but he does learn Weak.
Yeah, our job dwarf, as you just tracked them down, was a sawing machine operator. We like to randomize as much as we can in free enterprise, but still keeping the vanilla experience as close as we can. And that particular dwarf, he changes his job every seed.
Indeed, because nothing is more fun than having a dwarf that formerly was just a farmer have all sorts of different jobs.
TwistedFlax wanting nothing to do with that Fame Arts, though, doing a keyless tower play.
I really like this play. When you walk up this tower, you can fight the boss up here. It is a Lunar Sparkle.
Oh.
That is spicy.
If I'm TwistedFlax, as much as I want to knock that objective off, I'm kind of hoping this is Wyvern. This is a very low magic spot.
Yeah. Well, that's objective. We have our other boss objective.
So this will be objective 5 if TwistedFlax can get through this fight.
That means we are 2 key items away from go mode. We need either the Twin Harp or the Adamant for either music or to forge that Excal. And then we need either the Darkness or the Pass to get to Zeromus.
And we have Sirens, so this could be a Haunted Moon Seed for sure.
Indeed.
But depending on what this tower boss gives us, that Fey March could have our path forward as well.
Yep. Ogopogo could be gating everything, or we could have something in that Fey March holding on to our path to the moon.
Yep, and meanwhile, Aegis is doing some egg grinding. Did not do the grind before the Dwarf Castle bosses, instead choosing to do it after.
We'll be getting the experience on Palom. This will make Palom a little bit more even with the rest of the party, which is kind of nice.
It'll be interesting to see how many eggs. It looks like just 1 egg for Aegis. I don't hate it, just wanting to get Quake.
Yep, just wanting to get Quake. Unfortunately, Quake is not the most useful against Ogopogo, as Ogopogo counters magic with a Blaze spell. And the Fey March has the value, as we find a second Crystal Sword at the top of this keyless tower. But TwistedFlax can't reset out because that Ogopogo was an objective.
Well, now we can sell 1 Crystal Sword, right?
But what if you go to... What if the chain to Darkness Crystal is through Zot, and Zot has 2 Cecils in it?
Well, then you reset all the way back to the time when you had 2 Crystal Swords. Which could have been, 40 minutes, but you still do it.
Pretty sure that resetting out of 40 minutes of Seed loses time.
Oh, I didn't know we were racing. Yeah, don't do that if you're racing.
Yes, it can be fun in practice or in a casual setting to reset back if you got rid of someone and you suddenly want them, or you got rid of an item and you suddenly want it back. But it doesn't usually work in racing.
No. So, gonna crack some more eggs, it looks like, for TwistedFlax. Have an Ice Claw on Yang. Do you do the karate fight first, or do you do the Rubicante fight first?
I would be more tempted to do the Rubicante fight first, just because the Rubicante... Well, if it's Rubicante, I should say. Rubicante is not the rudest boss. He can be annoying for sure, but if you can get your turns up at the same rate that he's going, he will not... Unless you're berserking people up, which with this party, we don't need to do that. You can pretty easily recover from all of his attacks. Karate, on the other hand, that spot will just punch and then kick and then punch and then kick and then punch and then kick over and over, and that gets annoying real fast.
Yeah, and I believe the Asura spot is the fastest spot in the game, if I'm not mistaken.
It is definitely one of the fastest, if not the fastest. Definitely significantly faster than that Leviathan spot.
Although with a Tella being our anchor and a crystal ring in our inventory, it probably, and an Artemis bow, it probably will not be that big a deal to set up agility to have a good RA1 setup.
Yeah, I'm not sure if TwistedFlax is going to be able to get the whole party to RA1. That Tella has been gaining some levels. And, well, Tella is a great anchor at the start and doesn't gain agility quickly. He does gain agility, and if you gain too much agility, and too much agility on your anchor is typically a bad thing.
And Commander Leonhardt, real quick in chat, the chat does respect Cecil. That's why they want to sell the crystal swords to make him appear.
Yeah. We all know that if the seed gives you crystal swords early on, there's not going to be a Cecil. And if the seed gives you a Cecil early on, there's not going to be a crystal sword. I don't make the rules. That's just how it works.
It's like reverse board face AI. And let's see if we're getting a leg or we're getting a quarter leg.
Looks like he's taking the karate fight first, so we'll have to wait on that.
It's a good play depending on the agility situation with Tella.
Looks like Palom is not fast enough, but it does. But Rosa, Kane, and Yang might very well be.
Yeah, and getting them to swing as fast as possible and getting some blinks up will really, help this out and slow the Yang down. The evil Yang, not our Yang.
Yeah, we don't want Yang to go slow. We want karate to go slow.
You just get the news of double crystal sword.
And the unfortunately haunted top of tower, although it is a boss that is required. Well,
so has to make the walk down.
Yep. You know what I want to see out of this Fate March? A tower key.
That's a good one. I'd like to see the Luca key into the tower key.
That is also perfectly fine, as long as it leads to the tower key. I just want the tower key to be somewhere in the chain, on the way to darkness.
Yeah. Oh yeah, 100%.
Because that would be truly rude.
Sitting here in the commentator's booth, I actually probably would have considered doing that Fate March before the Keyless Tower, just because of that option of, two bosses can give you something. Although, if Darkness is down there, that would have screwed me completely.
Well, our progression is through the Leviathan spot, as TwistedFlax has found an Avenger, which is a very good weapon, and Kane can use that.
It's a fantastic weapon.
That is amazing for Kane. Although, if this is Ruby, might not be the best move.
Yeah, and unfortunately, TwistedFlax did sell the Blizzard Sphere to buy his Sirens. So I don't know if Aegis kept theirs or not, but TwistedFlax definitely did not.
Yeah, so unfortunately, no ice weakness, no exploiting that weakness from Kane. And I don't know if TwistedFlax has an Ice Claw. I know Aegis picked one up from the shop, but I don't know if TwistedFlax has one.
I believe the Ice Claw is actually here in the Fate March too.
Yes, it is in the Fate March. Oh, the Rither Lee's bringing up a good point in chat. We have not seen D-Mist, and we know of a couple of cheeky spots where there could be a D-Mist hiding.
Tower of Zot, King Queen spot.
Yep, they could be hiding in either of those places right now, and this Rubicon could not have anything.
So
but we do get our full leg. Full leg is great. We like full leg. Glare is going to one-shot whoever it hits. There's kind of no way around that. Well, there is a way around it. But it's a very niche way.
Hey, it's still a way.
It is. Yang manages to survive a punch from Rubicon at this spot. That is impressive. Go you.
Yeah, this Leviathan spot during, in the vanilla fight, Leviathan doesn't do any physical attacks, so it's another spot where the programmers decided, hey, let it have some, nice attack power.
Yep, and then when other bosses end up rolling here, they punch really hard.
Yeah, getting the blinks up.
Trying to put that blink on Palom, but then Palom gets hit with the glare.
Yeah, there's the board face AI in action saying, no blinks for that quack kid.
Yep, unfortunately, the blink was denied.
Yeah, without using the Avenger, TwistedFlax is preventing all the Fire 2 counters that would be coming out and hitting the party, which will make this just a punch and a glare fight as long as he continues to use his power and jump.
Yes, Rubicant will counter the fight command with a Fire 2 counter on the whole party, which won't do a ton of damage, but is, annoying. And will do enough damage that if you're taking it constantly, it can keep people down pretty readily. But by using the Power Punch command and the Jump command, TwistedFlax is avoiding that counter while still getting all the damage that he needs out of Yang and Kane.
I wonder if TwistedFlax is banking on maybe finding that Sand Ruby to replace his Tela at some point.
Maybe. Yeah, this Tela is a little bit high level. And unfortunately, these Ice 2s coming out at the wrong time, hitting Rubicant while he has his cape closed. Rubicant absorbs Ice while he has the cape closed. This does not affect Ice weaponry, it only affects Ice spells.
This is why the Quack Kid just needs to use Quack.
Yep, Quack will always do damage. Not as much as Ice 2, but when the cape is open at least, but...
Gets a good one off there.
It's still 2,000 damage versus 3,500 damage. You probably want the 3,500 damage if you can time it right, but... the consistent 2,000 damage, you take that.
Yeah, and this fight has a huge chunk. I want to say 28,000.
I think it's even
HP.
more. It's like 30. Oh, 28,000 experience. Yes. I think.
Oh no, I was thinking HP.
HP is like 35,000. I want to say. This is a beefy spot.
Mm-hmm.
It's a very beefy boss.
Yeah, I might have maybe gone with a couple of bluffs on Palom just to kind of, get his power a little bit more up there. That's just me personally.
Yes, bluff is a very good command. Basically, every time Palom uses bluff, he straps a Stardust Rod to himself, which gives him plus 15 wisdom for the rest of the fight. The only way to cancel that bluff is for Palom to swap weapons.
And TwistedFlax is through though.
Yep, getting some more levels on his party. We will see if this is our progression. Well, that is a Luca key. we have our Luca key.
Ooh, the fetch quest has started.
Now, how long will this chain be?
All right, I got this. Luca key to the Tower key to the Earth Crystal to the Darkness Crystal to Adamant and Twin Heart, both on the moon.
You left out the Baron key.
Didn't
I would like to Darkness Crystal. Only thing on the moon that leads to anything else is the package, which has a demist that gives the Pan, which gives the Baron key, which has both the Twin Harp and the Adamant.
There you go.
Gotta include all the... Oh, I left out the rat tail.
Forgot the rat
There's
tail.
a rat tail somewhere.
I would bank on maybe 2 key items on the moon. So let's say
What?
the rat tail.
Yeah. Well, there's a sand ruby and a spoon.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, there you go.
Package sand ruby and spoon are up there. Perfect.
Aegis is still cracking some eggs, going for power overwhelming strats to get through the Fey March.
Yep.
Not waiting for 10 key items.
Yep. This grind will be fairly slow, but it will make the Fey March much easier. Oh, Commander Leonhardt, I like that a lot.
And that demist is on the giant.
See, no, I don't want that. I want demist at King Queen Evelyn. So it's been there the whole time.
Yeah. We need this to be a long chain, but not lead to darkness or the progression.
We have more chain.
And soon to be the double Cecil that we've, been craving for after the grinds have been done.
Yep. Let's see what the. Oh, that's rude. Oh, that's rude. Oh my goodness.
Oh!
Oh, that's a spot for Wyvern. Oh no. Tella's level 36. Oh
Yeah,
no.
and Aegis has been keeping their Tella up as well.
Oh,
While Aegis is going to be way more leveled for that fight,
no.
that Tella's way more leveled too.
Yeah, and levels don't help you get through that Mega Nuke. This spot has enough magic power where that Mega Nuke is doing quad 9s. And you're not dodging it.
TwistedFlax is switching to Wyvern Standard Time, and hopefully gonna get the agility worked out to be able to get a Starveil up.
Yep, looking like is stacking all of the agility boosting gear onto Kane.
Don't forget the ninja hat.
Probably doesn't need the ninja hat. Has run all the way down, has gone all the way down to battle speed 6. TwistedFlax? There are 2 Starveils in that inventory, okay.
Okay, there they are.
I was going to say, if he did not have Starveils here, this would be real bad.
You are starting off with a random
number
of Starveils.
Not fast enough.
Oh
no.
6. Get that ninja hat on.
Oh, and TwistedFlax is warping out.
Ooh.
I think we have found Asuka's tutelage leaving its mark on the seed.
That is definitely the case, and Aegis is still working on their grind. Got a Yang that's at 4,000 health. Won't get through the Mega Nuke, but with these levels.
Yeah, I don't anticipate that Rubicant being too much of a problem at this point.
Oh, does TwistedFlax still have the Artemis bow?
I believe he might. I can't imagine him selling the Artemis bow.
That might have been enough to work
Yeah,
the agility.
Artemis bow plus Crystal Ring might have been enough to get Rosa up to fast enough. But the trouble is with Wyvern, you need to have another character fast enough.
Right.
And it's going to be very tricky to get 2 people fast enough without a low anchor. And it looks like TwistedFlax is heading to that hook route to pick up that Edward.
That's a good move right there. That is that's a great heads-up play for TwistedFlax, knowing that Edward is still there. Aegis does have the Edward available as well.
Yes, fortunately both our owners do have this Edward available to provide an anchor. Edward at base level will only have 9 agility, and the runners should be able to get these characters to be these other characters, except for Paladin, to be fast enough to be RA1. But
and TwistedFlax also knows that the Earth Crystal is sitting behind there, so we'll be able to replace the Edward right away, as most of us would do.
Now, if you're TwistedFlax here, do you check King Queen Eblon at this point?
Ooh, I think so. I think you gotta have that, that Wyvern down there blocking the Earth Crystal. I think you take the 3 or 4 minutes and go see if Demas is sitting there.
It's not even that long if you're just making that walk.
Right. I'd drop a save here and run up there.
Yep, Tella is gone. Unfortunately, that does mean that TwistedFlax is now without an exit caster.
Oh, I wasn't... Yeah, you're right.
But Palom has warp, so this is okay. This is fine.
It's a little extra time.
Yeah, it's a little bit slower. There is no exit. Rosa does not have exit until you complete the Tower of Zot, and the Tower of Zot is locked behind that Wyvern.
sorry. That is.
Oh, yep.
Stand right here, right in front of this dragon.
Yep. Edward is going to be a noble sacrifice. It looks like TwistedFlax is going to grind a little more.
It's a solid move to do here. Get the party up, because even once you get through that initial Mega Nuke, you still have to take the dragon down. And that
is true. The Mega Nuke will probably do 10,000 damage back to the dragon itself, but that spot does have 19,000 hit points, so... And it is very fast. And will start bouncing nukes onto your party pretty quickly, so you're going to want to be able to recover quickly and get that last bit of damage down.
Oh, did you see that on Aegis' side? That Berserk Yang did 6,800 damage.
Yeah, Ice Claw is good. With this Ice Claw, I definitely don't blame Aegis for zerking up this Yang. The Fire 2 counters are doing a little bit of damage, but they are not the scariest. Although Rosa going down every time is a little annoying.
Yeah, and I don't know if you also noticed, Yang took a glare and didn't die because of that health pool.
Yeah, the magic is not the most powerful here, and Yang has a lot of hit points. So now we will get to see how Aegis deals with what is waiting at the bottom of the sealed cave.
TwistedFlax has the Edward on the floor, making sure he doesn't ruin this anchoring.
Oh, Flurry bringing up in chat. TwistedFlax doing all this grinding right now. There's a pretty decent. There's still a chance that we could have a Cecil or maybe even two up in the Tower of Zot.
Yeah, an Edge Cecil combo would be real cheeky there as well.
Well, 2 Cecils for 2 Crystal Swords.
Or no Cecils, and it's 2 Edwards.
I don't think we have enough dupes for that. Actually, no, we do. That would be all of the dupes. We have seen 1 dupe with the Duplicatella in the Sandry bed, but we do have 2 more dupes available.
Yeah, Aegis is making really short work of this Fey March. With the additional levels that they have, went really quickly through that Rubicante and gonna get their Avenger before heading down to the Wiki.
I definitely like this play. It makes sense. You're here in the Fey March, you may as well clear out the second fight, especially if since that sealed cave is not a particularly attractive check.
Oh.
Demist and Aegis Sisters would be good, but we're still hoping for Demist at King Queen, because the runners have been fading that spot for so long.
Yeah, now TwistedFlax has had 2 opportunities to go check it.
Yes, TwistedFlax has gone down that hook route to check that character twice. For once to see that it was Edwards, the second time to pick him up.
Yeah, now TwistedFlax has had 2
Neither
opportunities
time
to go check.
has he peaked the King Queen spot. If that's a Demist with progression,
yeah,
oh boy, do you feel behind.
And looking at the key item situation too, we've only got 6 key items if you count the Earth Crystal that we haven't fully secured yet. We still got a lot of race to go here.
Yeah, there are so many key items out there. And granted, our runners only need to find either the Twin Harp or the Adamant, plus Moon access or Zeromus access to get go mode, but
yeah, Plumeria Knight, that's a really good point. Throwing that Avenger on Caden may have given him enough agility and the actions to kind of buffer her. That's a pretty heads-up play right there.
An Artibo Rosa in the top slot, paired with an Avenger Kane in the second slot, might have been enough to get those two, to get Rosa to get her Starveil off before that Mega Nuke. But meanwhile, Aegis is diving down the sealed cave. will probably not be happy to find out what the key item and boss here are.
Well, let's see how they decide to handle it. Their Tella did get all those levels along with the rest of the party.
Yes, I think their Tella has over 1,000 hit points. That is a beefy Tella.
TwistedFlax right on Aegis' heels, though, back in the Seal Cave, running through this place, trying to get back, knowing the danger that is ahead of him.
Indeed, TwistedFlax is set up with a base level Edward as his anchor, which should make this Wyvern a little bit easier. Still not going to be free by any means, but should be not completely impossible. Yep, TwistedFlax going back to Wyvern Standard Time.
Well,
and he just gets the bad news.
Yeah, we'll probably see... Yeah.
Yep, goodbye. And this bot is very fast. Even at these levels, you're just gonna have a hard time outspeeding this bot.
Yeah, that Kane is way up there in the party order with that ninja hat on.
Yep, TwistedFlax gets the Starveil queued, gets the next turn. Okay. Hallam is safe. Rosa is also safe.
That's all you need.
That is all you need. TwistedFlax has survived the Mega Nuke. Ooh, queuing up that virus.
That's a good play, trying to get that in before the wall.
Yeah, just a little cheeky virus. It's a very fast spell cast, but
also inflicts the sap too.
Yep, getting these virus casts in before Wyvern can get a wall put up, which is the next thing it does in its script.
Aegis trying to figure out their agility situation to get through here.
Vitasia, Quake does work on Wyvern, however, Quake has some spell delay. And in this fight where you're just trying to get through the last bit of HP as quickly as possible, spell delay is bad.
Yep, TwistedFlax is through.
Indeed. TwistedFlax has secured the Earth Crystal.
Does that make Edward the MVP now?
You know, I would be tempted to say that, but all of this would have been solved if they'd just not let Tella get any levels.
Aegis trying to figure out the agility situation here with that level Tella.
Yeah, 19 agility. That's gonna be hard to anchor with. And it looks like Aegis has decided to nope out. And we'll see what they do next. Gosh, unfortunately, neither of our runners have found a curse string either, which would make this agility anchoring situation so much easier.
Yeah, I wonder if he just might go check these shops before maybe taking that, Edward.
Perhaps. But TwistedFlax is now headed to Troya, doing some shopping, seeing if there's anything useful in these item shops. Life pots are nice.
Have been running low on them.
Yeah, you never hate to see a refill on life pots. Also, more Star Eels.
Still have Golbez lurking out there somewhere.
Yeah, and Thor Rages for potentially Rude Kainazo.
Both Crystal Swords sold, it looks like from chat.
Yep, looks like at this point has decided no Cecil. It is too late for Cecil. And TwistedFlax is headed up the Tower of Zot now. We will see who our bosses are here.
And if that Demus is at the Magus Sisters,
That
again, still would be
Demus at
would have been
Magus
available.
Sisters holding all the progression would be amazing. There are several Demus spots that would be amazing though.
Yeah, so it looks like Aegis is going to try this with the Avenger on.
Yep, I think also has a heroine robe on Rosa to get her a little bit more agility. We'll see if this works.
And who do we have at the Tower of Zot?
It's Demist!
Oh!
Oh my goodness! If this has progression, none of that Wyvern, like that Wyvern, and if Zot does not have progression and this has our progression, that Wyvern was just a waste of time.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, like this is an amazing seed.
And unfortunately for Aegis, even with that Avenger Heroine Robe combination, still not enough agility to get through.
Yep. Looks like is looking for shops, and we have a Cecil. We have a Cecil.
All the Crystal Swords.
You just exerted your dominance on the seed at the bottom of Zot. Like in Troya. And Zot gives you a Cecil. No second Cecil, unfortunately, just a radio.
And it looks like Aegis is on a cursed ring hunt.
Yep, see the rare Aggart armor shop check. No cursed ring there.
Ooh, that's a nice armor shop though. Aegis Shield Black Belt.
Yeah.
Granted, we've already found it.
Oh,
I think
hello, free boss.
Oh, don't sell the Artemis bow. You might need that, Aegis.
Yeah, you really that is a agility manipulator. You might want that. I don't want Zot to have value. I want the Demus to have value.
Absolutely. All right. Let's see, Zot. Show us a spoon.
Yes, please show us the spoon.
Or another crystal sword. Oh, Twitch.
No Twitch.
Baron Key, the chain
Oh.
continues!
Oh. Oh no. I mean, yes, chain, but also demist.
Gotta check the demons.
Can demist just have the value?
Hey,
Actually, no. No, I kind of want Baron to have the value. I don't know.
Baron makes the Wyvern required.
Oh! Well, more chains. Why not? So, do you turn that in before you do Baron?
Yeah, absolutely.
What? It is a very fast check.
And the hovercraft. Oh no, he's got the hovercraft over at Evelyn.
Yeah, because picking up that Edward. Which, now that we mention that, it looks like Aegis is going to be making the same play.
Just a drinking moment.
Nope. Well, demist did not have the value, unfortunately.
But the long chain continues.
At least we know Wyvern is required. That's still something. Cursory and Baron shop would be something.
Oh yeah.
That would be a special, a very special seed.
Oh, we've got Vanilla Bygin waiting for TwistedFlax up ahead.
This does not have to be Darkness. This could be Pan, or Tower Key, or Twin Harp. I want Tower Key. Please be Tower Key. At the end of this, the nasty chain, Tower Key.
Tower Key from the Baron Throne, and I want another Crystal Sword from Odin. Now that we've seen the Cecil, and the Cecil's gone, and we've sold all the other ones.
See, but I want progression from Odin.
Oh, we want progression from the Tower Key.
Well, yes, so we should put Tower Key at Odin and Crystal Sword at Baron Pot.
That works for me.
Also, Cursed Ring in Mist, which is a town that I know I usually don't go shopping in.
I will go shopping if I decide I need to loot it.
Also, shoutouts to I mean, it's also, you don't have the package. We haven't found D-Mist yet. There's no other reason to go to Mist.
I agree. I agree. It has a good clump of chests, though, that, you know, every now and then maybe a cheeky loot play.
Yeah, I've definitely gotten some great stuff out of Mist.
I will also check the shops if my starting characters did not have good weaponry and I'm looking for like a black sword for Cecil or a dancing dagger, you know, or something to kind of get me through the first couple bosses.
For sure. We have an octopus that can swim through concrete.
Well, you don't see that every day.
Yeah.
It can't even defend itself. How's it going to ink anybody in concrete?
I like to think that it's an ethereal octopus, which would explain how it absorbs holy. And also seems to pass through every single substance.
But does it hate Kang or Yang for being a musclehead?
I don't know. Oh look, it's the other white mage. A little late for Porum.
Just a little.
That does mean, I think for our missing characters, we're down to just Fu, Edge, and Sid.
Mm-hmm. With 2 dupes still, and 3 spots. Right?
Yep.
3
We
spots?
have
Yeah.
package, Lunar Dais, and the Giant.
Alright, let's see with this Cursed Ring if Aegis can get through this Wyvern.
Hopefully, with the Cursed Ring and lowered battle speed, shouldn't have too many issues.
Yeah, I believe the Tele was at 19, so the Cursed Ring will bring him down to 4.
Aww. Darkness in the Baron Pot. The seed has finally decided that enough is enough, and our runners shall have access to the moon.
And it looks like, though, TwistedFlax is geared up to take on this Odin spot, though.
Yep, may as well check this boss at least while you're here. I kind of want this to be a tower key leading to Twin Harp to Adamant.
So that's the interesting thing, though. You have Darkness in hand. There's 6 checks up there. But if you get Tower Key here, do you check your Tower Key first?
Kenazo is the real King of Baron, apparently.
It was Kenazo all along.
Yes, you thought Kenazo was an imposter, but no.
He was just perplexed by how an octopus could swim through concrete. Kane gonna be doing some avenging.
Young gonna be swinging with that Thunderclaw.
Even a Lip Bolt getting thrown out by Rosa.
Yeah, I mean, she's got the HP, she may as well do some damage.
Aegis is through the Wyvern, though.
Yep, finally through that rude boss. And we'll be able to move on with the seed. But TwistedFlax gets through the Kenazo, and we have just a Ninja Hat.
Time to go to the moon.
Yep. It is, Moon is confirmed not haunted this seed.
So this is... I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
I said this has been my bane lately, is I come down to these 50-50 checks. Do you go top down looking for one key item? Or do you go bottom up trying to get the bundle?
That is the eternal dilemma of moon dives. I like top down personally, but with both boss hunts out of the way, I can definitely justify going bottom up.
Ninja Debugger, no. Flax did not keep a Cecil and sold both crystal swords that he had found.
Yes, Flax does not have Crystal Sword Cecil.
And I don't think Aegis has sold any of their crystal swords, so it'd be interesting to see if they decide to keep the Cecil or not.
Yep. You will see. Is going to be checking these shops. And it looks like TwistedFlax is going to be at least starting with Cave Value.
We have seen this check pay off in a number of Swiss races so far. Having a key item that is required. Not hard required, obviously, but at least required to complete an objective.
Yep. Cave Value does sometimes live up to its name.
It will really depend. There's still a couple of bosses here. Golbez here can be a little rude. The Alt Gauntlet here. Dark Knight Cecil.
Mom Bomb.
Oh.
That's a little rude.
I've said it a number of times. This is my least favorite boss in this game.
Yeah, goodbye, Palom. Sorry, you didn't have enough HP, and Mom Bomb punched.
Yeah,
Mom Bomb is punchy.
yeah, I do not like Mom Bomb in any spot in this game, hands down.
Yeah. At low HP spots, she just adds on so much extra HP, and at high level spots, she's just real punchy and annoying.
Yeah, but TwistedFlax does have double Zerkers going, got some blinks up. We will see if we see the little bombs or not, though.
It looks like is going to revive Palin. But ooh, King cannot take 2 hits.
Yeah, I was probably hoping that he would be able to before getting that blink back up. Oh, and Mom Bomb's down.
Yep. Should roll that extra.
Got it through.
Or a Sanderby.
Second Edward, anyone?
No, second Tella.
I can tell. You're right.
We can swap our anchor back now. I don't think TwistedFlax cares.
It doesn't seem like it. That would have been 10 key items though. Not that it mattered.
That is true. It would have been 10 key items, although I think TwistedFlax is quite happy at the levels he's at. But now we get our peek at the Moon character. This is one reason I don't mind going for cape value first. You don't have to sit through this cutscene, and we have a duplicate for him. Aw, look! The seed is nice and gives you an anchor right at the end.
Fortunately, unless we find that pass, we'll have to come back through here.
Oh, goodbye, Cecil for Aegis. Aegis, this makes sense. Aegis has already done their grind, so not willing to take Crystal Sword Cecil.
Maybe I'm in the minority here. I would have taken that Cecil. I would have taken 2 Sirens with me to the moon and done some Gold Dragons to get him up to snuff. He's only got to get to 40.
That is true.
It looks like we might be having a technical difficulty here, so up and it. Thought it was back, maybe?
Just Twitch being Twitch. But it does look like TwistedFlax is going down for the bottom up. Skipping that Murasame altar.
Yeah, he just made really short work of that Demus. I didn't even see it during the Twitch being Twitchness.
Yep.
It looks like we may be caught back up now. I know my Twitch just decided to do a whole lot of weird things.
Twitch has been buffering a lot.
Please hang in there with us, chat. We will get this straightened out as quickly as we can.
Yes, fortunately it's a long walk down the lunar subterrane that TwistedFlax is making. So hopefully the Twitch issues will be over by the time he gets to the bottom. Okay, it looks like it has stabilized, at least on my end.
Same for me. It looks like we've got TwistedFlax getting down to the ribbon room.
Hey, we Twitch decided to cooperate before we got to any more checks. That's good.
And it looks like Aegis is checking out their demist right now.
Hi, Bahamut. Something tells me that TwistedFlax is not very scared of this Bahamut.
A couple Star Veils, a couple of Berserkers. What more could you need?
Yep. Bahamut is the nice version of Wyvern who gives you a nice little countdown before he does his Mega Nuke, so you get plenty of time to put up all those veils.
Hey, he's such a nice dragon. I mean, he just wants to help, you know, let you know when things are coming. He's so confident in his ability, he's just going to telegraph it.
Yeah. Well, technically not a dragon, but
He looks like a dragon.
he does. I mean, that open sprite looks a lot like the Wyvern sprite.
His little things on his head. Looks like he's got a crown to, you know, to be the king of, you know, whatever that he is. Although he's a
The
god
king of summons.
Yeah.
Whatever. The lord of summons. But it does look like, meanwhile, Aegis has made it through Zot, checked that Demus, maybe turned that reptile in?
I believe so.
I might have reset out of it then. It is now going through Baron, but
Oh, there's the Twin Harp.
TwistedFlax has found Go mode.
First check in the Lunar Subterrane, gets the Twin Harp, exits out.
Ah, well, I'm glad we're getting this and not the Adamant, because now we get to have my personal favorite part of this randomizer.
Yeah, we've been talking about a lot of changes for 4.2. One of them is new harp songs have been added. Hopefully get one of the new ones.
Yep. There are so many different harp songs in the pool now. I think it's up to like 242, I want to say is the number. Don't quote me on that, that may be wrong. But it's somewhere around there, if not that. Scala confirming.
Good guess.
And
oh, my stream just caught.
Oh yeah, no, my stream just jumped to Dark Elf doing stuff, so cool.
That was Kokiri Forest. As I finally got caught up, it took another refresh to get me there.
Yeah, Twitch issues being Twitch issues. Always fun, but it's a lovely rendition of Kokiri Forest, and that Twin Harp is hard required!
The chain hard required.
Oh my goodness.
Grimoire, that was at the Ribbon Room.
Yep, well, clearly bottom-up Moon was the play.
and we will see where Aegis decides if they will also go bottom up or top down.
Yep. To answer question in chat, we have not found the pass. So TwistedFlax will have to walk all the way back down that lunar subterrane to fight Zeromus.
Yeah, gonna have to do the moonwalk. Lunar strut.
Yep. Gotta love taking that 2-minute walk all the way down the lunar subterrane.
Just gives you time to reflect on the seed and how you're gonna tackle the final boss that's awaiting you.
Indeed. Our runner's high-fiving Aegis on her first trip down the lunar subterrane, while TwistedFlax is making a beeline for Zeromus. And speaking of Zeromus, I'm starting to see some flags coming out in chat. Bad Karma, do you have any idea what those are about?
It's my bedtime, that's for sure. I am getting a little sleep.
I mean, it is getting late, and what with daylight savings time kicking in tonight, going to bed early sounds like a good idea to me.
That's where my wife just told me she was going. But no, actually, in the spirit of randomization, we would like to roll Zeromus into one of these random boss fights, but Big Bang is just too powerful to do. So instead, we keep Zeromus at the end, and we just change the way he looks. And another addition with 4.2, with more harp songs, comes more sea sprites. And I believe we're up to 520 now, or 525 different Zeromus sprites that are available. And we usually like to ask ourselves a question. Zeacat, would you like to do the honors?
I think it may be a little bit early to ask the question for now.
It could be. It could be. You're right. We can leave chat, with their Z flags just waving in the wind.
Yeah, especially since TwistedFlax is stopping to do a little bit of a grind here.
Might be wanting to get Nuke on the kid.
Yeah, that could be what he's going for. This party is not exactly an optimal Zeromus party, but it's quite serviceable.
See, doing the ribbon room, if TwistedFlax had taken the Sand Ruby, did the ribbon room with that Cecil, and then did these King Ryus, that Cecil would be Z ready with a Crystal Sword. Just saying.
That is true.
Commander Leonhardt, if you're still out there, I'm with you. Should have taken the Cecil and not sold those Crystal Swords.
The one advantage Aegis does have on TwistedFlax at this point is Aegis will not have to do any grinding. As they already have Nuke.
Yeah, which will make this Bahamut spot or fight a whole lot faster. I'm gonna get that Twin Harp right away.
Yep, looks like it's setting up walls on a bunch of their characters. But didn't need them. He just gets through Bahamut before the Mega Nuke. Dr. Cossack, Aegis is anchored. They found a cursed ring in the Mist armor shop.
And with that Bahamut down, Aegis is now in go mode.
Yep, but it does look like TwistedFlax is done with his grind. setting up Rosa to be a super healer.
Yeah, that white robe rune ring combo with the life staff. Even a full powered Big Bang's not going to get through that Rosa's HP pool.
Yeah, she's pretty tanky. And I think 1 Cure 4 from her will be able to heal up the damage from a full power Big Bang.
Which, with a Avenger Kane and a Zerk Yang and Palom throwing nukes, probably won't see too many nerfs.
Yeah, I don't think in this fight it would be too beneficial to nerf. As everyone, except maybe Palom, should be able to survive the unnerfed Big Bangs, and Rosa's real good at healing. But I believe now it is time to ask the question. That
it is a good question.
Yes.
But I still would like to defer the honor to using Cat.
So I shall ask it. Question on everyone's mind tonight, as TwistedFlax goes the wrong way for a second, is whose butt are we gonna kick tonight? That's right, we've randomized Zeromus' sprite, so once the crystal is thrown at Zeromus to trigger the start of the fight, we will find out which one of the fabulous sprites Zeromus has put on today.
The majority of these sprites have been done by the wonderful Skellakitty. A number of them have also been done by Boardface himself, and we will see who will come out of this ugly, hairy mess that we have before us.
Oh, hi, Crankiness.
That is a cranky butt.
Yeah. Tossing that Silk Web, which will nerf the first Big Bang, and slow Zeromus down.
Sorry, chat was a little cheeky there for a moment. But yeah, with the Silk Web, and now we've got a Star Veil on Yang to do some reflection for Palom. I wonder if Rosa will get in on the reflect action.
It's possible. With this Big Bang, definitely Rosa will be prioritizing healing over getting in on that reflect action, but Palom tosses the first nuke. Almost 9,000 damage on that nuke.
Nice, good, healthy chunk of HP there. We've got Avenger Kane swinging. We've got a Bacchus Yang going now.
Yep, it does look like Rosa is going to be getting in on this reflect action with a white. But this Z fight should be pretty smooth sailing.
Yeah, we've got everything coming out right now. TwistedFlax is throwing the book at this crankiness.
Indeed. With the life staff and the white shirt equipped, this white cast should do pretty good damage. Yeah, that's quad 9s. It's not easy to get Holy to do quad 9s, but when it does, it feels real good.
He just got the crystal. We were thinking the same thing, it sounds like.
Yeah, I was about to say. Aegis is through the arc check, has the crystal in hand, will be following TwistedFlax shortly down the lunar subterranean to the Zeromus fight.
Fortunately, they also have to do the walk. No pass has been found yet. So we'll have to make the same walk that TwistedFlax did.
Yep. No shortcuts this seed, unfortunately.
Yeah, with the nukes in the white, Chad is saying that we should be seeing some rocks on TwistedFlax's side here really soon.
I don't think we're seeing rocks because that's the flash. TwistedFlax has finished this race in first place. Waiting for the official time to come through.
Get your GGs in chat, and it sounds like we were actually joined by TwistedFlax as we're waiting on the official time. GGs, TwistedFlax.
Thank you very much.
So you see the objectives. I saw your reaction to them in the race room. How are you feeling seeing that with that young start before you even get into the seed at all?
Not great. Yang's early game has leaves a lot to be desired. So I'm just hoping to find some decent characters, maybe on Hobbs. Maybe my second character's good. I see that Kane, I feel a lot better about the early game.
And then that magma key.
Oh yes, when you get a magma key start, all of your usual starting process just goes out right at the door. You have the Fame Arch open to start getting items. You can get Sheila 1 ready. So it really speeds up the seed, I feel. And I really think that definitely got the case done because I got a really strong loadout on Kane before I fought a single boss.
Yeah, the defense sword and the watery pass was an excellent pull there. Xenocat and I, we were discussing routing choice by seeing that early magma key.
I still think the watery pass has a lot of good gear normally, so I think it's still worth looting. And you probably could skip some of the other lesser places like Barren Town, like Damskin. I think I still did Damskin because I wanted some just some generic equipment or something to sell. But you definitely don't have to do a lot more than that to get yourself going when you have the magma key start.
For sure. The next thing I want to ask about is, how about that wyvern?
Yeah, how about that wyvern? I can test the fact that I made some very loud and very rude sounds when I saw that wyvern pop up. And I realized that, yeah, I really don't have a single way to deal with it right now. I'm going to have to go out and find some other way to get around it. Because it was hard required, at least at the time I thought it was going to be hard required. When I saw that D-Mist at Mega Sisters, I'm like, oh, that would have been the ultimate troll if that was the progression.
We were hoping for the D-Mist at King Queen, to be personally honest.
Yeah, either King Queen or that Mega Sisters D-Mist, if it had led to progression, would have been extremely trolly. But fortunately, the wyvern was hard required.
Yeah, well, I won't say fortunately.
Fortunately for you, at least with your routing. Not fortunately from a runner's perspective. You don't want to see that wyvern hard required.
No, I wasn't really worried too much before that about anchoring because I had a lot of good agility manipulation gear, a lot of decent characters who can wear that. I was thinking I would probably go into the Z fight doing like 28 agility strats because I just had the right setup for it. And then I saw that the wyvern, I'm like, well, can't do that now, can I? I got to go find a slower character, and luckily I still had that Eddie out there, not the slowest character, so I had to do some grinding to get my mages up to RA1, but still, at least I knew I could beat Wyvern at that point. It was just going to take some time.
Yeah, it was very fortunate that you had that 6th character available, because I believe that other than the 5 characters that were in your party at the moment, Edward was the only other character that was available at that point in the seed.
You have to be really careful with the C buy flag on, because if you do run into a situation like that where you do need a 6th character for something, you want to have one in your back pocket, whether it's like the Sand Ruby or somewhere else like on the moon, the package, just to be on the safe side, because you never know when you're going to need to flip your strategy around.
For sure.
Yeah, picking up the Edward was a really heads up play. Aegis actually found a curse ring for sale in the Mist Armor Shop.
That's the other way to get around it is if you can go around the shops and find a cursed ring. The problem with that is you don't know if there even is a cursed ring for sale because I'm pretty sure it's not guaranteed. So I figured I knew if I got the Eddie, I'd be able to get through Wyvern eventually. I just went with the guaranteed route rather than the riskier, the possibly quicker route.
Definitely makes sense. Because doing all those shop checks, if you find the curse string in your first or second shop, it might be faster than going for that Edward, but even just checking all of the shops on the overworld, if it's in the last shop you check on the overworld, that's a lot of time invested, and for all we know, it could have been in the Baron shop, in which case you don't have access to that until after you get through that Wyvern.
Exactly right. I think also on C Standard it would even be in the Underworld as well, so that's 3 more shops you have to check.
Yep.
You can be going all around the world.
There's just too many shops.
Yeah.
Did it feel a little, planning to exit out of that Cave Evelyn, but Rosa didn't have exit yet?
Well, I had to trade the Tell because everyone else in the party was important. No offense to Tell, but he was the most expendable at the point. And it was like, well, he's my only source of exit right now. I guess I'm warping.
Yeah, fortunately, warping isn't too much slower than exiting. It definitely beats walking.
Yes.
The only other question I have is, we were debating on whether to go check the King Queen spot. You hadn't found the Ogopogo yet when you first went to Cave Evelyn, and now that we know your plan was to just keep the character around in case you needed it. But was there ever at what point would you have checked King Queen if you hadn't found that Ogopogo at the top of the tower?
Honestly, I don't know if I would have ever checked that spot for Ogo, simply because the seed had sort of followed us through Feymarch to get access to Luca, which would eventually get us access to the moon. I knew that I could get anything I needed from the moon. If I needed to find that the adamant, if I needed to find the Legends Art, I would have been able to get it somewhere else in the seed. So I probably wouldn't have wasted the time going through that route for a 1 in however many bosses are left chance to find the required Ogo.
Fair enough. Ogo can't gate progression, so it's if it's there, you can still find everything else without going there.
Well, you're 1-0 now in the Swiss rounds. How are you feeling going forward, knowing you're going to be paired with another 1-0 person next week?
Honestly, there's just so many strong competitors in this race. I've seen so many people, whether it's by luck of the draw or just a bad roll of the dice in the rando, fall to 0-1. So there's just so many good players out there that I'm just, it's going to be a challenge no matter who I face.
You ran an excellent race tonight. I do look forward to seeing more races from you. Do you have any other final thoughts?
I want to shout out Euphoric Lemon and Annadale. I think it was Euphoric Lemon's first restream. I hope it went well for you. And of course, Bad Comrade, Xenocat, thanks for doing the commentating. And again, just want to shout out Aegis, my opponent. They did a great job as well. I think I knew this was going to be a close race going into it. And I mean, if it could have just bounced off. If they had found a curse ring earlier, it's entirely possible that they would have beat me this time. So, shout out to them as well.
As we just saw the flash here on the restream for Aegis. That's all I have for TwistedFlax. Do you have any final questions, Xenocat?
No. Thanks again for running for it. Thank you for running for us, TwistedFlax. It was a pleasure to watch you race.
And thanks for everything else that everyone else did behind the scenes. And I'll catch you guys later. Have a good night.
Good night.
Thanks, TwistedFlax.
And we have our officials times now. TwistedFlax finished in first place with a time of 1 hour, 46 minutes, and 49 seconds. Aegis just finishing up with a time of 1 hour, 55 minutes, and 28 seconds. So GG's to Aegis for getting through that rather rude seed.
Yep, and we will probably be getting Aegis in here for an interview as well. just a moment as we are joined by Aegis.
I believe we're now joined by Aegis. GG's.
Hi. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, we can.
Thanks. I hear you just fine. So that was a seed that exists.
Yeah, that was certainly a seed.
And I understand the restreamer tonight, Euphoric Lemon, he hadn't rolled too many seeds before this.
It's his first.
Yeah, this is quite a seed to start out with. Yeah, you know, you're gonna get a reputation to keep rolling seeds like this.
Yeah, for sure. I think this is a strong start to a restreamer reputation. But what are your thoughts on this? Just general thoughts on the seed, Aegis, before we dive in.
Well, I mean, I'm mostly happy with my route and my shopping early on, at least. You know, and then I had like one big fallout, and I think we know what that was. But you know, why don't you go ahead and mention it, where I lost time?
Don't look at it as where you lost time, because TwistedFlax also stumbled through with the Wyvern as well. You both had a leveled Tella to go through, and you both took very different ways to get through that fight.
Yeah, I had leveled Tella up, meant to kill him off, but it was mostly already ground up by the time I realized I hadn't killed him off for the grind. Then I was like, all right, well, what are the odds that I'm going to get punished for this? So I'll just finish the grind. And then, of course, I get punished for it.
Yeah, and TwistedFlax had done the same thing. Had to warp out, and because he didn't leave a save at the top like you had, his solution was to grab the Edward from Cave Eblin to be the anchor, replace his Tella then.
You know what? That's pretty smart. I could have done the same thing. Maybe save some time. Shop percent. You know, I was looking for that curse ring. I tried everything for speed manipulation there. I tried to move the battle speed down. I looked at speed to see somehow if Tello wasn't the slowest person, but of course he was. I know I had a ninja helm on, but I was like, all right, maybe Kane doesn't actually have it on because I gave it to Yang for a while, but no, he had it on. I had totally forgotten about the Avenger. I gave that a go before actually trying to find the curse ring proper. But then realized that even though I got the battle speed 1 or the RA1 that gives me, I unfortunately can't make use of it because he can't pop a Star Veil if he's too busy zerking.
Yeah, we had a couple speculations in chat on different ways. We thought maybe the Artemis bow on Rosa in the first slot, and then the Avenger Kane in the second slot may have done it, but neither you or TwistedFlax had tried that one.
Yeah, I didn't know if that would work. I mean, I thought of the Artemis bow on its own, but I looked at the agility, and that wouldn't have done it on its own. I needed the Heroine and the Artemis, but when I found both of those, I was most of the way combed through the shops to see if I couldn't find the curse ring. So rather than try that, I just kept shopping and found it. If I didn't find it, I would have done that. I would have done Artie Heroine.
Yeah, and getting the curse ring was a really good heads up play. Unfortunately, it just was, I think, 5 shops deep. That's just unfortunately just random.
Yeah. And then you had to warp out, and then you had to walk back down, and of course all the shopping. That was easily, I think, the 9 or 10 minutes total that our times came in different. Not that, like you said, he did the same thing, but that was easily it. I aside from that, I'm pretty happy with how everything shook out. I mean, darkness came pretty late, so you weren't going to get baited into doing too many searches for that. I did the tower early, the keyless tower play. I tried to do that as early as I could see myself leveling for it, because you know how it is. It's always there when you don't check it.
Yeah, and that being a required Ogopogo with a crystal sword, you couldn't even reset out to save the walk back. Had to walk that crystal sword out.
Yeah, that was pretty mean because I had already had a crystal sword by then, so that was completely worthless. Like a White Spear would have been better, or Cat Claw, or a Stardust. Like anything that was just garbage at that point. So that really hurt.
Well, I
Yeah.
do recommend giving this a rewatch. You and TwistedFlax actually ran very similar races. It really just came down to handling that Wyvern, and we've already gone over. And like you said, the shopping versus grabbing the Edward was probably the only difference. Otherwise, you guys pretty much ran the same race.
Indeed.
Hey, like I said, I'm pretty happy with it. So hey, we'll put that down in terms of learning not to level your anchor, and we'll see if I learn anything for next time. Of course, that won't be the issue next time. There'll be no agility issues. It'll be something like no equipment for the character you get, or like the moon will have everything, but you've been doing all the seeds that say that it's never on the moon, so you, of course, don't go until late. You know how it goes.
That is the true joy of free enterprise, is that there's always some terrible mistake you make, and it's never the same one twice in a row. There's always
I'm just waiting for one of those. I'm sorry.
So there's just always some way that the seed gives you some rudeness.
Yeah, I'm just waiting for one of those decision points to shake out in my favor. They never do. It's always the wrong. I mean, like, didn't make a mistake necessarily all the time, but it was just like you could make a decision either way, and then I make the wrong one like 99% of the time. Just seems like it. But it's fun. So if it was frustrating, that would be one thing. But even the Wyvern headbanging was pretty fun, because I was like, all right, I know I can get through this. There's no way that this is not doable.
Yeah, and
it
ended up being hard required, so.
Yeah.
Do you have any final thoughts? You're 0-1, unfortunately, but we do have a lot of Swiss still to go here.
Yeah, we got 6 of these, so 5 more, right? No, nothing really. Just thank you to all of you. Restream teams are awesome, and you guys do just as much work on the race as we do, if not more. So thanks for that.
Thank you for being on the Restream. We can't do it without you. So.
Yeah, without you, there's no race to watch. So.
I don't have anything else to use, Xenocat.
No.
And GG's to you, Aegis, and I look forward to seeing more races from you here in the near future.
Thanks. Yeah, can't wait.
And with that was our second place runner, Aegis. This is the end of our race, but it is not the end of Free Enterprise, as we have another race going on over on Randomania 3. We have Cubs Rule 21 versus Judge and Phineas. So we will be heading over there. Do want to do a quick shout out to our new restreamer, Euphoric Lemon, and the seed that he just rolled was something. Our tracker, Andadale, as always, a pleasure to work with you, keeping the buttons lit up for us. And to my co-commentator, Xenocat, as always, a pleasure to work with you as well.
A pleasure to work with you, Bad Karma.
Have not done so, please give our runners a follow. Please give the Restream team a follow. Also, please do not spoil this race when we head over. Some people will come back and watch this back.
Yeah, but with that, we're going to head over to Randomania 3.
You all have a good night.